EP1. In the beginning, we see two sisters who are killing someone and talking. They say that they ended up killing 8 people, some that they didn't plan to. Rock receives a call from Boris in Lagoon Company's office, and he tells him about some meeting being cancelled. Rock, Dutch, and Revi sit in a room, and Revi asks Dutch if this is because of that. Rock asks what she means, and she tells him there has been a killing spree aimed at Hotel Moscow. Revi says in the past month 5 people with a tie to the Russians have dropped dead, and Dutch corrects her that it is now 6. Due to a spree of killings aimed at Hotel Moscow, Chang organizes a meeting between the major crime lords of Ronapur, himself, Balaleka, Abrigo, a Colombian cartel boss, and Verrocchio, the leader of the Ronapur branch of the Italian mafia. Verrocchio and Balaleka get into harsh talks and taunt each other. Balaleka blames Abrigo, and when he stirs clear, she shifts the question to Verrocchio, who says that their men also died and claims that this is the work of someone from out of the city. Chang proposes that they work together, but Balaleka is not in favor. Balaleka spurns Chang's attempts to foster cooperation and insists that Hotel Moscow will find and eliminate the assassins. Later, Rock and Revi are in the bar in a neutral zone, and the bartender discusses the bounty placed on the head of the killers. Rock says that finding outsiders in the city should not be hard, but they are not found yet, meaning someone has given them asylum. Eda, a member of the rip-off church, gets there and talks with them. Revi gets angry and tells her to fight with her outside. Eda says she is not there to fight and tells her that a lot of people are already on the move to get the bounty. Eda suggests to Revi that they join the hunt as well. She tells them that this morning, 2 of Balaleka's subordinates were killed. Next, Balaleka is on the scene of the murder, and she talks to WhatsApp, who reveals that a waiter was found alive, and he told them that the killers are a pair of twin children. The story went that the twin arrived and told the bartender that they work for Balaleka, and went inside to wait. When her men arrived, the twin attacked them, and they started shooting and killing people, and even captured one to be taken back with them, to keep them entertained till their next job. He also revealed that they were white but didn't speak English, but some other language. Balaleka tells WhatsApp to keep the info from leaking, and he says the police are also joining in on the bounty hunt. At the twins' hideout, their sponsors are disgusted to find that the twins are brutally torturing one of Balaleka's subordinates. Meanwhile, Balaleka asks Rock for information concerning the twins' speaking mannerisms. EP2. On a murder scene, few dogs are shown gnawing on dead bodies. In their hideout, the twins are getting ready to leave and switch the wig and roles. One asks the other to not forget the ticket and passport, and after that, they head out. The dogs growl as the twins approach them and kill them. Rock talks to Balaleka on call, and he determines that the twins are from Romania. She asks her sergeant about Rowan, the owner of a strip club on Rashida Street. She, along with her men, goes to the club and takes Rowan with them, and Balaleka asks Rowan for all the Romanian snuff and pornographic films he has. Later, in a meeting with Chang, she reveals to him that she watched 250 videos that Rowan had matching her description all night and half of the next day, and found the twins in one of the films, wherein they were called Hansel and Gretel, and mentions that many orphans from Nicolae Ceausescu's regime were sold on the black market and forced to participate in pedophilic snuff films. Chang wonders how some kids destined for a dark fate like this managed to get away. Balaleka theorized that these kids were forced to participate in killings for the pleasure of their owners, but then they came to like it and accept it. She hands some documents over to Chang. After examining the documents she handed him, Chang agrees to ally with Balaleka to eliminate the twins. She has found that Verrocchio is the sponsor of the twins, and he comments that having one of their own killed was a perfect alibi. Chang's men have also died in the crossfire, and he comments that they will have to pay for it. Back in his headquarters, Verrocchio gets angry about things getting out of hand, and one of his men proposes they kill the twin themselves and claim they got rid of trouble. This way they will be able to steer clear of the suspicion as well. Verrocchio gets angry at him and beat him. Chang agrees to work with Balaleka. As he leaves, she calls him babe, and he says he doesn't like this nickname. She calls her sergeant and tells him that Chang agreed to work with them and give him some orders. Balaleka mobilize her Lusitania, the former soldiers that fought with her in Afghanistan. The twins arrive at Verrocchio's headquarters. He scolds them for coming there, and they tell him they have changed their minds and are there to kill him. Chang and his men have also surrounded the headquarters. Inside, the twins start killing, and Chang asks one of his men to call Hotel Moscow. Eda calls Revi, telling her of the police movement near the headquarters and telling her to come. Revi leaves, and Dutch comments that things are going to be a mess. Twin kills Verrocchio and his men and exchanges fire with Chang on their way out. To distract the bounty hunters looking for them, the twins set up a decoy car, but are confronted by the Lusitania and ultimately cornered by Eda and Revi. EP3. The twin offers them money to let them go. Revi asks Eda to kill them and get the money later. Eda and Revi begin a gunfight with the twins, but the Lusitania arrive, putting an end to their fight. They inform Balaleka and shoot around Etta. This angers her and she points her gun at them, but Revai informs her that they are with Hotel Moscow and stops her from shooting. Hansel and Gretel decide to separate and cause confusion among Russians. They plan to kill their man and confuse them, which will lead to them returning to their base. They split up and go separate ways. Balaleka and Sergeant are in a park in contact with Lusitania. Sergeant tells her that they lost the target and Balaleka tells him to continue with the plan. One of the twins, Hansel, follows Jodorowsky, and they spot him. Jodorowsky plans to lure him to the planned location, and Balaleka asks him to be careful as twins are very clever. She then asks the sergeant to take the command of final unit and tells him to be careful. He leaves wishing her luck. On the way back, Etta is angry at Revai for being greedy and denying the twins' offer and scolds her that now she will have to return empty-handed to the church. Revai decides to call it quits and return to the office and tells Etta to call her if something comes up. Etta asks her to come along to get her car, but she tells her to go alone as she is not a kid. As Revai leaves, Gretel comes there from behind and corners Etta, and while holding her hostage at gunpoint, requests that she find a getaway boat for herself and her brother. She says that after killing Balaleka, they will have to escape and Verrocchio was to arrange for it, but as they have killed him, so Etta must do it. Etta says that since Verrocchio is dead, they no longer have any obligation to kill Balaleka, but she says they will kill her just because they want to. Meanwhile, the Visitaniki engage Hansel and despite his best efforts, suffer no casualties while attacking him for an entire night. Hansel eventually encounters Balaleka in a park but is sniped by her men. Elsewhere, Gretel hires the lagoon company to transport her, and Rock listens to her recount her past. Sickened at the situation she had to endure due to Ceausescu's regime and black marketeers, he vents his anger at Benny, who asserts that Rock cannot prevent all the injustice in the world. When the Black Lagoon reaches the getaway point, Gretel is killed by a hired gun from Hotel Moscow, but Rock notes that she died peacefully staring at the sky. EP4, a man holding a gun is talking to a lady about some product in a deadline. Greenback Jane, a money counterfeiter working for a Florida crime syndicate, angers her bosses by breaking a deadline. Her boss is threatening her, saying that the deadline was 2 months ago and his sources tell him that this girl is messing with him. He raises his gun toward her but does not shoot her. Instead, he shoots his fellow who was working on a computer in the same room. He gives her 48 hours to come up with good quality counterfeit money, or she is done for. Revai wakes up in a messy room. Greenback work on a PC while the two guys are there to keep an eye on her. They play cards, and one of them goes to the toilet. Greenback locks him inside the toilet. She uses the computer monitor to attack the other guy and makes a run for it. At the Church of Violence, where Etta and Revai are drinking, they chat, and Etta asks about Rock and if Revai had a physical relationship with him. Greenback is being chased, and she knocks on the church's door asking for entry. She is turned away by Etta, and she pleads with Etta to let her in. Members of the Florida Mafia arrive moments later and fire into the church, breaking the glass Revai is holding, prompting Etta and Revai to respond in kind. Revai passes a pistol to Etta, and she also arrives at the door and starts shooting at the Mafia members. They are joined by Rico, an apprentice priest. Yolanda come there and see the booze. She gets angry at Etta but says they must deal with the unbelievers, and she pulls out her golden pistol and joins the gunfight, and the Mafia members are driven away. Inside the church, Jane proves her counterfeiting skill, and Etta sends her to a motel. Russell, a member of the Florida Mafia, begins to collect bounty hunters in Ronapur, including Shenhua and Sawyer the Cleaner, a mute that uses a chainsaw in battle. Despite their willingness to take the bounty hunters criticize Russell for his inexperience in the city and his cowboy appearance. As the bounty hunters depart, Rock, Etta, and Revai arrive at Jane's motel. And that's all for today, guys. Stay tuned to get more new videos. Stay safe and keep watching.